So Lethal Gaming Gear has been killing it in the mousepad market, and here I have their newest release, the Neptune Mousepad, and I thought it would be fitting to talk about their mouse, the LA-1, in this video as well, and why it is a really good pick, especially considering their latest quite significant price drop of it. Let's start with the LA-1, which is sporting a claw grip oriented shape, top of the line specs, and can be configured without the driver software as well. The main reason this mouse was delayed so much was the quality issues with their chosen manufacturer. Sadly, they could not get those issues resolved completely and decided to sell the mouse with a lower price instead. Their main concern was the side flex between the base and the shell, so let's take a look at how bad it is. So, as you can see, the flex is really nothing alarming, and I've had mice with significantly worse sidewall flexing. I can get it to flex with applying a pretty high amount of force, and I also can actuate the side buttons if I press pretty hard below them. But in real use, I don't have any build quality related problems. The weight of this mouse is also 52 grams, which is very nicely balanced altogether. The buttons they are using in this are the Huano Blue Shell Pink dots, which are honestly one of my favorites. The clicks are tuned very nicely and there is very minimal pre-travel on them. Huano switches are known to have a bit more post-travel, but with their implementation it is also very small. All in all, the click is very snappy and satisfying. One issue I had with their main button implementation on my unit was some squeaking on the right main button when pressed at a certain angle. That was a relatively easy thing to fix with applying some lube to the spot where the switch post rubs with the plunger. It was not audible constantly, so you might not even notice it, or this might not even be an issue with your unit. The side buttons are probably the weakest link in this mouse. They have some audible rattling on them and feel a bit mushy as well. The pre and post travel on them is pretty apparent. The scroll wheel is pretty good, it's in a nice position overall, and it's a perfect balance of tactility and smoothness. The click latency of this mouse measured with the XLAT was a respectable 0.8 milliseconds with 2K and 4K polling, and for some weird reason it was even slightly better at 1K polling with their 4K dongle, which I have right here. The click latency showed some erratic behavior and the standard deviation was fairly high across the board, and it would randomly jump up to 1 milliseconds and then drop down to 0.4 milliseconds for 100 samples or so. Pretty weird behavior, but does it matter in real use? I really doubt that, and the results are still very good. The motion delay I could measure was around minus 0.4 milliseconds less than my Contra unit without motion sync, which is slightly ahead of Pulsar's and Lamzu's 4K implementation. The rest of the polling rates gave minus 0.2 milliseconds at 2K polling and plus 0.4 milliseconds and 1K polling, but one thing I noticed was the deviation was pretty high in the motion delay measurements as well. I've seen others report this as well, so I hope the people at Lethal Gaming Gear will look at this for their next mouse releases. Just to mention, these results were measured with the esports mode on. The shape of this mouse is something I really enjoy using with relaxed claw grip. The right side is relatively flat with comfortable curvature that offers a bunch of space to fit my fingers. It has this downwards angle that makes the grip feel very effortless. Fingertip grip in this mouse feels also pretty natural to do. One thing I really enjoy about the shape are these finger grooves on the main buttons, and with this mouse I feel that my recoil control in Apex is extremely good. The back hump also feels super comfortable through the back of my hand. The coating is very chalky feeling matte coating, and for my skin type it is not necessarily slippery. I believe they were considering a more rubberized coating at first, but eventually changed it to the retail units. But honestly, I've had no problems with this chalkier coating type, especially because the shape allows me to secure the mouse so well in my hand. When we look at the bottom of the mouse, we can see that it actually comes with pre-applied core pads, and another set comes in the package, so you don't have the need to purchase additional skates anytime soon. We can also see that there are a bunch of different buttons here, and this one you can use to cycle through different polling rates, and this one is for the DPI. So if you want to lower the polling rate to save some battery life in desktop use, it is very easy to do with the LA-1. So all in all, this mouse is a certified banger, and just recently Lethal Gaming Gear even lowered the price to €57 or $59.99, which is insanely good price for what you get with this mouse. Granted, if you want to use the 4K polling, you need to purchase this additional dongle separately, but even still the price is very competitive with similar offerings. I really enjoy using this mouse and it is a very solid product even with the slight minor flex issue. Then let's talk about their Neptune Mousepad. So the Neptune is their newest mousepad release that falls into the speed pad category. The surface of this pad is unlike any pad out there. It has this really fine texture to it that offers a quick glide in initial movements and effortless glide with constant movement as well, but also offers some nice feedback through your skates. It is not as fast as the Raiden or the Shidenkai V2, but still in the quicker side of pads. The pad comes in bunch of sizes, also in the much loved square size, and the pad is only 3mm thick. The base is also very interesting. It is a rubber foam base from the parent company of Poron, and it is actually super lightweight. I actually thought the tube was empty when I got this pad because I couldn't feel it inside. Even though the pad is very light, the pad stays in place on my desk insanely well and it offers some really nice cushioning to my wrist. What separates Lethal Gaming Gear from the rest is the constant urge to provide better value for their customers, and they could have went with their cheaper old rubber base on this. However, they were not satisfied with the quality of the normal rubber bases and opted for this more expensive, higher quality base instead, even with this standard model. So that is Lethal Gaming Gear for you folks. The stitching is also very nice on this pad and it's lower than the surface of the pad with zero inconsistency. All in all, the quality of this pad is truly impressive. So the speed of this pad is quite fast, but not as fast as the Raiden or the Shidenkai V2. It is more like a finer texture, Hayate also with a bit more speed. It offers effortless micro corrections with very controllable tracking experience, and for static aiming this pad shines also. I found this pad to be very enjoyable experience both in aim training scenarios and playing Apex, and at no point did I feel the need to swap to a faster or more controlled pad, even when my hands felt shakier than normally. Lastly, I found that this pad is very hard to get dirty. Usually the pads that have some sort of texture gather skin cells and all sorts of gunk very quickly, but this is still in very pristine condition after a few weeks of usage. And if there's some dirt, a quick wipe with the microfiber cloth will fix that issue for you. All in all, my performance with this pad is really good and it is for sure in my current top 3 favorite pads currently. Yeah, I think that is it for this video. As always, thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Goodbye.